Howdy folks. So this lesson is going to be specifically revolved around smoothing and the different types of smoothing methods that Blender can offer. So there is the standard, if you press Ctrl V, smooth vertices. This is a pretty typical smoothing where it'll both smooth and like change the shape and like flatten it out at the same time. But there's a few different options if that's not exactly what you're looking for. So if you have installed not installed, but enabled the Loop Tools add-on that I talked about in a previous video, you'll have these options when you're in edit mode. And there's a few different choices here. So, say for example, yeah, my screen just locked for a second there, just ignore that. So say for example, I want to smooth out this line, and it's kind of like there's a bit of a notch there, a bit of a notch there, you know, it could be smoother, right? So I've got a few different options. One of my, if you want to go for a manual solution, you can edge slide, so GG for edge sliding. It's pretty classic. But the thing is, if you try to, like say for example, if I wanted to smooth this and smooth vertices, it's going to actually collapse my edge into the geometry, which isn't really what I want. So instead of doing that, there's an option for relax in these tools. So previously when I was talking about the different vertex types, when you think about which smoothing to use on which type, the smooth vertices option is best for either bridge points or floating verts. If you want to smooth an anchor edge, then what you want is relax. Because if I click from one point to the other and hit relax, it's going to evenly distribute those points. But the thing is, it's not going to collapse where, you know, that is, I can hit it as many times as I want and it's not going to collapse it in. There's like a fixed point where like it'll stop changing it. Like once it's at its fully relaxed state, basically, it'll stop changing it. So that's really excellent for getting, yeah, pretty much all of these edges. And the other nice thing about relax too is you can apply it not just to the one edge but to parallel. It works less good when you have like clips, for example, because it'll stop at a certain point. But like for a lot of areas, it's quite good. Like say for example, okay, so if I want to get just these, and I don't want to affect everything else around the tree because it's going to give me some like funny results. Honestly, even these ones probably would give me funny results. I can just select those, and with everything else hidden, if I just relax these, it will relax like only what's visible. So that's the nice thing, at least, is like you can just create a mask for it with your selection. So just, yeah, focus on the parts that you want, and then you can relax them. The one thing about this that I have mentioned before, but I'll mention it again anyway, is if you have a mirror on and you go to relax, and even if you have parallel on, if you go to relax, it's still only going to do the one. Whereas if you disable your mirror and you hit relax, then it will apply to all of them. I don't know if that's a bug or just a feature of how this modifier operates with the relax features, but that's just something I've noticed. So if it's not working, that's probably what is wrong. And then beyond relax, there is space, which is a lot more self-explanatory. So it will just like it will just evenly distribute those points within the space. The nice thing though is it will maintain that like arch you had. So it's just gonna like basically edge slide them an even distance from each other automatically. So that's quite nice. And then another function which could be quite useful is G-stretch. G-stretch. So it will evenly distribute from one point to the other, but it'll do it in a straight line. So that can be good for like hard surface modeling and stuff like that. But yeah, those are the main smoothing types that you can use. You also have the option of going into sculpt mode. It's easier if you enable wireframe if you see this, but the same way, yeah, like you would with sculpting, of course, you can hold shift and control these and smooth that way if you prefer. And another method that I like to do if, because I was saying before, the smooth vertices, you tends to lose volume with it. So what I like to do is change your orientation to normal, pull it out too far, maybe even scale it up a bit, and then just smooth it back into place. And then I'll just kind of like do it one more time and then like smooth one more time. So then at least I can get the volume with the smoothing effect both together in one. So that's another way to go about it. And yeah, those are the different types of smoothing. So just to summarize, you've got sculpting, you've got your vertex menu with smooth vertices, which will displace your topology, which is another reason too why, for example, if you have an open edge, you would really want to use relax over space, because if you hit space, it's going to kind of shrink upwards. But if you have relax instead, it won't. Just keep in mind you can't relax like the whole thing at once because of course it's gonna like treat the whole thing as a circle, so you do need to go segment by segment. But yeah, that is how you smooth in Blender. Short little video. Like and subscribe if you like what I did, and have a good day, y'all.